Do you ever feel stuck or trapped in a life or job that you resent? Today I will teach you an ancient Greek method to free yourself from whatever it is that's keeping you stuck, frustrated, and even to overcome your deepest, darkest fear. But first I will tell you a story. It is from Greek mythology. It is the story of how the hero Theseus escaped from the labyrinth of a terrifying Minotaur. A long, long time ago, Queen Pasiphae slept with a bull sent by the god of gods, Zeus, and gave birth to a Minotaur, a creature, half man, half bull. King Minos of Crete was embarrassed, but did not want to kill the Minotaur, so he hid the monster in the labyrinth constructed by Daedalus at the Minoan palace in Knossos. According to the myth, Minos was imprisoning his enemies in the labyrinth so that the Minotaur could eat them. The labyrinth was such a complicated construction that no one could ever find the way out alive. The son of Minos, Androgeos, went to Athens to participate in the Panathenaic Games, but he was killed during the marathon by the bull that impregnated his mother, Pasiphae. Minos was infuriated and demanded Aius, the king of Athens, to send 7 men and women every year to the Minotaur to avert the plague caused by the death of Androgeos. The 3rd year, Theseus, the son of Aius, decided to be one of the 7 young men that would go to Crete in order to kill the Minotaur and end the human sacrifices to the monster. When Theseus arrived at the royal palace in Crete, he met Princess Andreani, daughter of King Minos, who fell madly in love with him and decided to help Theseus. Andreani gave him a thread and told him to unravel it as he would penetrate deeper and deeper into the labyrinth, so that he would know the way out when he kills the monster. Theseus followed her suggestion and entered the labyrinth with the thread. Theseus managed to kill the Minotaur and save the Athenians, and with Andreani's thread he managed to retrace his way out. Theseus took Princess Ariadne with him and left Crete, sailing happily back to Athens. Now one can think of labyrinths as a symbol of a pilgrimage. People can walk the path, facing obstacles, and finally, after they have faced their deepest, darkest fears and the lies they tell themselves, which have turned into monsters, they can finally ascend towards salvation, enlightenment, and freedom. So let's have a closer look at what the Greeks suggested would be the way out of our own dark labyrinth. What was the answer of the Greeks? The method of liberation. It was the ball of thread of Ariadne that she gave to Theseus. So what could this ball of thread represent? The ball of thread is something that will help with your memory to trace back your steps, back to the door, to the portal of freedom. In other words, your memory must be applied and exercised. You must trace back your thoughts of how you got to where you are stuck now in order to free yourself. The Greek word for memory is Mnemosyne. The term Mnemosyne is derived from the same source as the word mnemonic. Mnemosyne was the goddess of memory in ancient Greek mythology and was the mother of the 9 muses. Now allow me to go on a small tangent, and I will circle back to Mnemosyne shortly. The Pythagoreans were a mystical cult that worshipped math, believed in the transmigration of souls, and didn't eat meat. Many of their metaphysical ideas were later adopted by other Greek philosophers. While concentrating on the spiritual, the followers of Pythagoras also left some tools that are quite practical in day-to-day life. One of these is the so-called golden verse. The golden verse contains 3 questions that Pythagoreans would ask themselves every evening before going to sleep. Before shutting down for the night, they would reflect on the answers to these 3 questions. What did I do today? Where did I go wrong? What duty is left undone? This routine allowed them to examine their day. They spent time reflecting on the mistakes they made and how these could be improved. Finally, they would remind themselves of the things that they still haven't finished. The Pythagoreans inspired many other ancient philosophical schools to adopt the golden verse into their morning and evening routines. The Stoics, for example, made these 3 sentences a key part of their day. In the discourses, Epictetus is noted as saying that he doesn't shut his eyes without doing a reckoning of the day. He wrote, "Admit not sleep into your tender eyelids till you have reckoned up each deed of the day. How have I erred? What have I left undone? So start and so review your acts, and then for the vile deeds chide yourself for good." The goal of this was to improve through the incorporation of feedback. These types of reflections need to be honest. Only that way will you know what you did right and what you need to work on. Based on this honest feedback, you are then able to change the way you approach challenges during the day. The Stoics created an entire daily routine that centered around a cycle of planning and reflection. Both morning and evening routines were incorporated, with each person adapting themselves according to their own specific circumstances. The idea was to wake up in the morning, plan out your day, rehearse what you will do, and try to figure out what kinds of challenges you may face. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman Emperor, who was also a Stoic, was not always a morning person and often found himself lingering in bed. In order to force himself to get up, he had a few mental techniques prepared. When feeling unmotivated, he would remind himself of the duties that he was meant to do. If his mind came up with further objections to getting up, he would recite a simple formula. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? The things I was brought into this world to do. Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" In this way, Marcus would prepare himself for the hardships of the day ahead. As the Stoics used to say, it's not the events or people that are the problem, but how your own mind reacts to them. This type of mindset, where you prepare yourself to meet the challenges of an absurd world, is important if you want to overcome the obstacles. Each morning, Marcus reminded himself of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. He felt grateful just to be able to breathe, think, enjoy, and make love. Can you see how Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory, can help you out of your labyrinth now? Think about what your daily rituals are and how they can help you out of the labyrinth of your mind when you practice them regularly.
Like, comment, and share these videos with as many friends as possible. If you'd like to watch these videos without any advertisement interruptions and in superior quality, head on over to patreon.com.